Hey guys, what a beauty day out here today. It's summertime and the living's easy. And it's time to do an oil change on our FZ09 by Yamaha motorcycle. So I picked this one up with about 4,700 kilometers on it in January. It is now July. And the fellow I bought it from said it had just been serviced, and I looked at the oil and it looked pretty good. It looked clean. So I've been riding it now for 4 months, whatever it's been, and we have a total of 6,698 kilometers. So not a lot, about 2,000 kilometers or so on it. And I figure, you know what, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to change the oil and filter. So I went online and I picked up a couple, oops, I'm in the sun there, picked up a couple of these Yamaha OEM oil filters, and I also got the drain plug washer that comes with it, and I also picked up some of this Bel-Ray 10W40 mineral motorcycle engine oil. So I actually got 5 liters of this stuff, guys, which is enough hopefully to do 2 oil changes on this machine. So what I'm going to do is roll her into the shop where it's a little cooler and a little more comfortable, and we're going to go through how to do an oil change on your Yamaha FZ09. This is a 2015. I don't think it makes a huge difference what year you're working on, but obviously check things online and make sure you get the right stuff to do the job. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera back on when we're inside and out of the sun. All right, you guys, so we're in the shop. It's a little cooler in here, and it's a little bit of a disaster. Good God, we're gonna work on this. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a drain pan, and we are gonna lay it underneath of the bike, and down under here, beside in the middle of the engine at the bottom, there's a big drain plug right here. So you want to get your drain pan underneath drain plug, turn this drain plug out, drain that oil out. They actually give you a little window, guys, right there to see how much oil is in the bike. I believe half full is where you want it. Now this bike is leaning on its kickstand right now on the left side, so all the oil's down on the left side of the bike. That's why you don't see anything in there. But if I were to tip this bike over towards me, which I'm not going to do while I'm lying on the ground, you'll actually see that little window fill up with oil. And I believe you want it about half full, but don't quote me on that. I'm actually going to look online right after I stop recording here and see how much oil actually goes into this engine. The other thing that you want to take off after you've drained from that little drain bolt is underneath. You can see it right there. There's your oil filter, that round thing right there. Now this bike's hot. I just came from work, so I gotta let it cool down for a little bit. These pipes are pretty hot. I'll get burned if I stick my hand in there. I think if I go from the other side directly underneath, I can spin that filter off with a filter wrench or a set of pliers or something. We'll do that in the next little clip here. I'm just gonna get my drain going. I'll turn this on, and we'll get some oil flowing out the bottom, and we'll show you how we do that exactly. So that there drain plug, guys, is a 17 millimeter. What we want to do is crack that baby loose like that. And now, in order to not make a giant mess, spin it out. Just let the plug bolt drop into your container that you're using to catch your oil. I don't know if you can see that in the video. It's kind of dark under there, but the oil is actually not too dirty. Pretty clean. So we'll let that drain out, and then I'll reposition and we'll show you how to pop that there oil filter off. So she's pretty much drained out. It's only been a couple of minutes and there's a little tiny drip going on, but we got most of it. And I'm going to try and do now is do this with one hand. We're going to pull out our pan. We've got a little magnet here, right there. And we're just going to fish around in there and see if we can find our drain plug bolt. I know it's in there somewhere. Trying to do this with one hand on the camera and one hand fishing. Oh, there it is. Not picking it up. Oh, we got her. Got our drain plug. Now, there's a little crush washer, guys, on this drain plug. You can see it right there. Sorry. And we actually got a new one that came with our filter. Didn't come with our filter. I had to ask for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this new washer on there, and we're going to turn this bolt back into the drain hole underneath the engine there. So that new crush washer is on that bolt, and we're just going to tighten this snug, kind of like a spark plug. You don't want to go crazy tight, but you want to go tight enough that you feel that washer squash. And you can tell that right about there, she's snug. You don't want to go too tight. There's no sense making that too tight. Obviously, once you're done and you put oil back in the machine, you want to check for leaks. But for now, we'll leave it at that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take off this oil filter. I don't know. You can see it. It's right there. High flow filtro. I saw these on Amazon when I was looking for a filter, and I wasn't too sure about the brand, if they were a good brand or not. So I ended up buying an OEM filter. This one's actually, it's hot, but it's only hand tight, so I can actually loosen that off by hand. Didn't use any tools for this one. Now it's going to drip a little bit, guys, so have your catch basin ready to go. Loosen it off, let it drain out just like that. Give it a few minutes to drain out, and then just quite simply take your new filter. This is an OEM filter, so I'm excited to put this on the bike. I like OEM stuff on nice new stuff. Peel this plastic cover off, and then take a little finger of this oil and smear it around the O-ring on the end of this filter, that O-ring right there, and you just thread that baby back on where the old one was, just about as tight as you can by hand. You don't want to use any tools for this, guys. Just putting this on, just crank it on as tight as you can by hand, and then check it again after a few runs to make sure that it's snug. So I'm just going to throw this on, and actually maybe I'll be able to do this with you guys on camera one-handedly. Take that off, take a dip of oil, just kind of smear it around the ring so that it lubricates when you spin it on. It doesn't grab the metal and bunch up. You can just take this old filter and drop it into your whatever you're catching your oil with. It's kind of hot down there, so be careful. Put it right in there with that stuff. Take your new filter. Turn it on like that. Like I said, crank it as tight as you can by hand. That should be good enough. I'll double check that with a better angle. It's kind of hard to tighten at this angle that I'm lying here on the ground, but you get the idea. Put that baby on there. Make sure your drain bolt's tight. And now we're going to move around to the other side, and we're going to refill this thing with oil. So we're over on the right side of the bike, and this is where we're going to fill our oil from. Now I don't believe that this actually has a dipper on it. It is just a cap, just a plug. No dipper. So I went online and it said to use 2.8 quarts, which works out to 2.7 liters for me because I'm in Canada. So what I'm going to do is dump about half of that, because that is a 4-liter jug. So that be half of that would be 2, and then I'll take the bottle of this Bel-Ray mineral engine oil that I've got and put about half that bottle in, because the bottle is a 1 liter, and then whatever the difference is will work out to the rest of the oil that I need to for the next time I want to change the oil on this bike. Again, this is awkward to do with just one hand, guys. Maybe next time I'll bring my little tripod. So it was asking for 2.69 liters, so 2.7 liters. So far, we've put in one quart and a little bit. So we'll go about the same amount. Now we're at almost the 2 mark. So that there's about two liters. That there should be about 2.5. Yeah, 2.5, 2.75. So we'll call it right there. What we'll do is we'll let this drip down inside, and then we'll tip the bike over, make sure that we've got a little bit of oil coming through that little sight glass. Now what we're actually going to do is start this thing up and let it run for a couple of minutes, let that oil pump around, fill the filter. We're going to turn it off, settle it down, and then see what we end up having inside there. Alright, so I just render for a few minutes. So what we're going to do now, without dropping it on ourselves, is I'm going to try to tip this back to level so you guys can see the oil in the little sight glass. And if you can see, we're about level, and it's come up, it's come up about 1/4 of the way up the glass. So we're going to add about 1/3 of a liter of oil to this. Bring that up to about the halfway mark. All right, guys, so I added another 300 milliliters or so of that oil. And now when we tip this bike straight up, you can see the oil washes up to the center of the sight glass. I think that's about where we want to be. Alright, so that's how you do, or how I did my first oil change on this 2015 Yamaha FZ09. If you don't like the way I did it, please comment down below. Let me know what I did wrong, how I could do it better. But it seemed to go well for the effort I tried to put in here for you guys today. Alright, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. We got some prizes. If you noticed, we're running a 10,000 subscriber prize giveaway. I'll link a couple of videos at the end of this one so you can see what we're giving away. Maybe you'll win something cool. Alright, thanks for watching.